Defenders, how the heck you doing? We're doing some new stuff. You're going to see me kind of looking off a little bit. It's because I'm trying a new setup here to do everything kind of all at one time. We are going to do an unboxing of the new Digimon card game. This is brand new. I don't actually think it's technically out yet. I think this is all pre-release because it says that it's not out yet on the website. But there were like launch events and stuff. So there are 3 different starters. This is the Heaven's Yellow one with my boy TK. If they eventually make one that has Izzy, I'll be the most excited because Izzy was my dude for that show. But this is the starter. They're $15. They're made by Bandai USA is importing them from Japan. So we'll I don't know what order a bunch of stuff is supposed to be in. So we're kind of just flying by the seat of our pants here. Oh, wait, is actually... Look at that. It actually shows what each of the things are. Now, I don't have autofocus turned on because it's a camera, and you shouldn't have autofocus on. You should have it focused on the cards. So, unfortunately, you can't really see that. All right. Box. Open. Nothing. Deuces. No, we'll keep that there so people can see what we got going on here. So, comes in a nice bit. The cards are actually not... They're, what's it called? Oh, good lord. What is this called, guys? They're not, like, in full plastic. And they actually give you, release special boosters. So, it does come with a booster inside, too. So, we'll touch on that one in a little bit. So, that's all that's keeping it on there. So, there are a bunch of different types of the generic cards, but you can have different kinds of Tokomon, for example. You can have a different one, a different picture, different stats, whatever. You can have 4 of these Tokomon, 4 of another Tokomon, if that helps. So here we got a little... Oh, man, that light is going to suck. So here we have a Tokomon. You can see that it's a level 2, so it is a baby. So essentially when we kind of show off the full game, you have kind of like little Digi-Eggs. And when you start the game, you evolve an egg, and that's just kind of the generic thing that's on there. And then when you are ready to Digivolve them into something else, like this Solomon here... All that matters is either you can pay 2 just to play them onto the field, or if you level them up from a level 2, or from a level 2, it costs nothing. And then you actually kind of stack them like this. And the reason you stack them like this is everyone underneath your main guy, you get this kind of built-in thing, some different traits, something like that. So right now, the Tokomon is on your turn once per turn. When an opponent Digimon is deleted by dropping to 0 DP, he gets 1,000 DP for the turn. So if I'm able to, attack twice, that 3,000 really turns into a 4,000 because the guy on top is who actually gets the bonus. It sounds a little interesting. The card stock's pretty good. The cards don't look like a lot, right? Like there's not a whole lot of cool going on there. Then we got some Salamon. We have Tapirimon, who can also go from a level 2. There's Patamon, that awesome boy. Angemon. So now you see as we start to kind of get up, you can just play him for 5, or you can upgrade him from a level 3, so a Patamon or a Tapirimon or a Salamon, for cost of 2. And we'll kind of explain how cost goes. That is actually a complaint that I have. Is they don't give you a paper mat. And the paper mat would actually help to greatly explain this process because of the memory system. But they don't even give you the paper to tell you that. Or a rule book. Oh, there's a memory gauge card. Okay, so I guess we're going to get to that. But unlike Pokemon, if you've ever been a big Digimon fan... Even in the anime, the Digimon had specific lines that they could go up, but then they could evolve into different Digimon depending on what kind of special thingy they gave them. In the video games, and I believe the manga, don't quote me on that, I mostly watch the anime, But at least I can guarantee you for sure in the Cyber Sleuth video game and the other video game, which I can't remember what it is, they can just evolve into anything. So it does not, like the TV show, required you to have a Patamon, and then Patamon would go into... Wow, there's literally a light like right over here, and it's the worst. I'm going to have to dim like that specific light. Thank you, Power Lights. In the show, Patamon turned into Angemon, but in the actual digital world, that doesn't have to. You can actually have Angemon come from Salamon or Angemon from Tapirmon. All that matters is that it's the level below where you're trying to go. Then we got Gatomon. From the anime, Gatomon and Patamon were the same level. This Gatomon is more powerful than Angemon. Interesting. Then we've got Unimon. So some cards actually have stats on them. This one is a blocker. When an opponent Digimon's attacks, I can suspend this Digimon to force the opponent to attack it instead. But when he attacks, I'll actually lose 2 memory. So he's meant to be a defender, and we'll kind of explain what defending is in a second. Ooh. Okay, so there's this neat gold border around this. It's a rare. Okay. So you can't really, again, you can't see because of the way that I have my camera done. But right here is the card number and the rarity icon. This is actually a rare because it's got that cool thing on it. U is uncommon, C is common, obviously. I like this border idea instead of the hollow, even though it definitely looks like there's some full hollows we're going to get to in a second. So Manga Angemon, Angewomon, who are great. Magnadramon, ooh, he's a big boy. Here we go, Seraphmon. There's our big guys. Big full hollow. Big full hollow. So every deck, right now, like I said, there's 3. There's TK's, which is the yellow deck. There's the blue deck, which is Matt. And there's a red deck, which is Kai. All have like their particular tamer in them. And TK's is, during the opponent's turn, all of my security Digimon will get plus 2,000. And if he comes out of security, I play this card without paying its memory cost. I'll explain what security is again in a minute. Then these are options. Option cards are things that you can use to boost your characters. This one is main. One of my Digimon will get plus 3,000 for the turn. This one is one of my opponent's Digimon gets minus 2,000 for the turn. Holy Flame, one of your opponent's Digimon gains security attack minus 3. The Digimon checks 3 fewer security cards until the end of the turn. Again, we'll kind of explain what that is. 7 Heavens, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 10,000. So here's your kind of teach cards to explain the system. So let me pick all of these up really quick, and I will kind of give you a basic rundown of the game. All right, so now let's kind of give a quick breakdown of the game, giving very general ideas and concepts and the basic ways of how to play the game, not getting anything too specific. So you will see that there are 2 different color cards, and these ones look like Digi-Eggs. That's because that's what they are. So in the playmat that somehow doesn't exist for this game, but it did for Pokemon, way to go, Bandai. Like, that's your #1 competition, realistically speaking. So there's a place over here where your Digi-Eggs go, because at the beginning of the turn, you're going to hatch an egg. Now, from here is how you can level them up for in here a little bit if you don't want to pay the cost over here instead of paying the cost over here. And the reason for that is next turn, if there is a person in your hatch, you're going to move them up and play them. If there is no one in here on turn 3, then you're going to hatch another one. So it kind of always gives you like an every other turn kind of push. But again, you could pay more money just to get it to go down. But we'll explain how money works in a bit. Then you have these things called security, which you heard me kind of reference earlier. So over here, you have 5 security cards. Now, if this looks like another game, maybe you're like me and that's what will get you excited for this game. There was a game fairly short-lived in the States. I think it only had like maybe 4 or 5 sets, maybe. It was called Duel Masters. I loved Duel Masters. I loved the anime because it was exact to the card game, except, the cards didn't come to life on the table and everything, but there was no difference in the rules. But I definitely was the biggest. I played a ton of Pokemon, but Duel Masters was like the card game that made me get hyper competitive, like not just with my friends. Like I went on the tournament circuit, if you can call it that. They were going to malls kind of all over the country, and my parents took me to the ones in the area because I kept winning. And I was winning, the local ones at the card shops and stuff like that. Like that was the game that I got really, really good in and I love with all of my heart. And when I was looking at this game and everything they were starting talking about, I went, man, this is really Duel Masters-y. So there's these 5 random cards in your security. When you attack with, oh, good Lord, with your Digimon, you can do a couple things. You can either attack another Digimon direct to get them blown up, or you attack the face, as you would say in any game. Now, the difference is, unless you have Digimon that specifically, like Unimon here, have the blocker keyword, you can't block. So you can't use Salamon to stop an attack that's coming. You have to have a blocker specifically, which is 100% the way that it was done in Duel Masters. You actually had to have blocker characters. Now, if you don't have blockers, then you do these things. You take the shield, where you flip it over. If it is a Digimon, they will fight, and they will either kill each other, just kill me, if you just, kill you, whatever. Now, they don't go to your hand if it is a Digimon. They don't go out in the field. It's literally a fight that happens right then and there. But some of them have these things that happen for security, like this is activate this card's main effect. So if this flipped over, this would do the main effect of one of my opponent's Digimon will get minus 10,000 DP. So you can kind of see how some cards, a lot of these don't have security options. It's mostly these, your trainer cards and your option cards that might have some stuff like that. So on your turn, you can spend your cost either just to play someone straight or anything like that. Now you're going, Kasey, we've been looking at all these things here, and there is no energy, there's no mana. Where do you get this stuff from? This is where I think they messed up with this booster box, or with this starter pack. On the playmats that you can print, Inked Gaming has Digimon overlays already. There is a bar at the top that represents this memory. So the way that memory works is it starts at 0, and whenever you spend cost, so if I just wanted to play this guy, it's a cost 2. It moves to the right 2, so it would sit over here. I know on the screen it looks like this is level, but there's a monitor stand here, so there's a little kind of like a little divot. It would move over to the 2. Now that means my turn stops immediately because it crossed the line. Now, that other player has 2 points that they can spend. So, if they hit 2 and they hit 0, their turn's still not over. So then they can know maybe they want to drop a 3, but it gives me points on my side, and then that's how I get to use points. So there's this really neat kind of back and forth of how much do you want to spend, because you're giving your opponent much more to spend to end your life or to, to hurt you. The other weird thing, so like, it would have been good if that was on a playmat, but at least they give you these cards that, kind of explain setting things up and whatever. Oh, this actually pops out. This is actually a little pop-out thing right there, I just noticed. So at least they give you this, but I really think it would have been better to have it on a playmat so you could see where you play your Digimon, where your hatchery is, where your where your tamers go. I just think it makes more sense personally. And like even here, like their own graphic shows it in one big straight line. Well, why didn't you do that? Also pretty interesting that there's no rule book because everything is printed on the back of the cards to explain what the heck you're doing. It's a little interesting. I got a couple guys who are getting into this. So we're gonna, play it, film it, see what's going on. I really like a lot of the ideas that are in this game. I think there is a lot of good ideas going on. I think they did take a lot from Duel Masters, which I, don't have an issue with. The security stuff is neat. They were called shields in Duel Masters. I like the idea of you kind of always have this kind of egg thing going on, so you're never completely screwed. You're not totally SOL at some point. You can always kind of have something go on, but they just sit there and they build, so it takes you a little bit of time to kind of get some stuff going. Like I said, the card stock is good. The printing, the colors are great. It's very reminiscent of the anime, which is real cool. I'm a big fan of this neat gold outline. Their hollows are freaking hollow, man. Super rare, which is really, it's really, really neat. Oh, I see. It actually says Digi Egg on the top. So you can kind of see where the differences come with everything. If you're just from the outside looking in, I don't think if this was on a table, it would entice me to want to buy the game. But I think the way of people talking about it and showing it off will make it really, really cool.